Portugal.
In Portugal, there's a YouTube show full of fun facts you need to know. Carl rings the bell and the members show to the GMP morning show. Featured guests will come and they will blow your mind. The audience will do so in kind. The little vanity mixed with some insanity on the morning show with GMP.
Good morning, Portugal, and I'd like to welcome you to another fantastic day.
Hey, Gumpers.
Hola, bon dia, alegria. Munson here with the Good Morning Portugal show, live stream and podcast. Now, I was thinking the other day, what are we? Who are we? Obviously, I asked those questions, as you might have seen on Facebook yesterday. The big existential questions like, who are we and why are we here? No, not that specifically. In this context, Good Morning Portugal, what are we here for? What do we do? And it's good to ask that question every now and then. And I've distilled it, as you can see. And I wonder if you agree with this. You are now part of a focus group, whether you like it or not. A Feelgood Friday focus group. Good Morning Portugal. Your cheerful introduction to Portugal. That's what we do, isn't it? We sing the praises of Portugal and enjoy our lives here. And are very happy to shout from the rooftops, Bon dia, Portugal! Or some of us are anyway. And say how great it is to be here, share the joy we have of living here in Portugal. Not only a cheerful introduction to Portugal, but a cheerful introduction to your day and on this Feel Good Friday to your weekend as well. I think that just about nails it, right? In a time when sometimes things can seem a little bit crazy, isn't it nice to know that you can come back here every morning, 9 o'clock, for a cheerful start to the day? And I think it's really important that we have a giggle and a laugh. And if you've got anything funny to share about the early hours of this morning, around 2 a.m., I did set an alarm to watch the presidential debate, and it just came on. I had it rolling on CNN I think it was CNN coming through on YouTube, and I could hear the chat. And all that I'm left with at the moment is this, my own meme that I've generated this morning. And I must say I preferred it when those two used to get along. If you do have anything to say about the presidential debate, I have a hangover from a miserable US. Okay, let's keep it light. Let's keep it happy. I have a hangover from a miserable US presidential debate. I was going to say, I didn't know quite how to treat that this morning. I was gonna give you some new Portuguese vocabulary, like unbelievable, embarrassing, like what the and the Portuguese equivalents thereof. But yeah, let's definitely keep it light this morning. And if you've got anything funny to say about that, given that we are your cheerful introduction to Portugal, your day and the weekend, let's hear it, okay? But I do understand, Aviva, I have a presidential debate hangover. You won't be the only one, and I only read about the highlights. Already there are some fantastic, funny memes that have been published. So if you want to chat about that this morning, I mean, if you want to fight about it, there are loads of places to go and do that on the internet. I don't think this is one of them. Let's have some fun with it if we possibly can. This morning, I think this fella here over on the right of the screen, he'll turn up on a few memes, won't he? To do with the presidential debate. Okay, we got pictures. Got quite a lot to do with Gilda Pereira this morning. She is returning to the Good Morning Portugal screen. Probably, it'll be in July now, but she has a new monthly slot. She's missed it. We've missed her, of course. She will be back to hang out with us on a monthly basis. And she was spotted along with the beautiful people of the gumping community of Gumperdom last night. Now, where did this picture go? I thought, I have got it here. Look, spotted last night. Now, unfortunately, I was unable. Who's in this picture? Can you recognize them? Vladimir Zelensky, of course, popping in. No, Carl Hyde, I mean. And we've got Astrid there, and we've got the aforementioned Gilda, Queen of the Visas. And she wasn't on the Dream Team session last night, nor was Astrid, notably. Great job, Jerry, last night on the 7:30 webinar, Essential Tips for Buying and Driving a Car in Portugal. Excellent. That will be up on the Expats Portugal YouTube channel on Sunday. And went very nicely. We started the day, didn't we, chatting with Colin and Pedro Bastos. We met a new gentleman, João Amaral, who you can find in the Expats Portugal Business Directory, who will help you locate a car. Not the luxury end of things that Pedro was covering yesterday, but João Amaral seems to be offering a very good service. You tell him what your budget is and what you're looking for, and he'll help you find it. Basically, he'll hand over the keys at the end. Doesn't charge you for the service. I think just like Spartan FX, for example, his money is in the deal, and he doesn't charge you for that service. So an excellent day. What with one thing and another too, with motoring yesterday. And Jerry's excellent presentation covering all angles of motoring in Portugal will be available on the Expats Portugal YouTube channel. I think we finally got it covered. It's the Jerry Lawler annual lecture on motoring in Portugal. It seemed to be, we were recollecting yesterday, probably the third year when Jerry's put together a great presentation, keeping you up to date with us, what to expect and what's going on with motoring here in Portugal. So check that out on Sunday. But back to other Expats Portugal colleague, Astrid. I said, do you want to phone in to the Dream Team session? She, oh no, we're working. Gilda and Astrid busy working there along with Carl Hyde. He's at all of these glitterati do's, isn't he? The agency opening that I did manage to make, but obviously working on a Thursday night. Yes, Astrid, working on a Thursday night. I wasn't able to make it to Martignal Orient. This looks like the interior here of Martignal Orient, which I hope to go and stay at and sample and review at some point. Couldn't make it last night, but let's have a look at what was going on with some of the entertainment and cookery last night. First of all, the entertainment. I'd have loved that. Great night, says Carl, at the Martignal anniversary celebration. They really know how to throw a party. All right, there's no need to rub it in. Send us pictures. Yeah, here they are. So that was the entertainment, the music. Here's some food for you. I'm glad I wasn't in the queue for the canapes behind Carl Hyde there. Sometimes you go to a nice do and you'll be offered a canapé on a tray. They were made to order by the look of it there. So it looks like you had a fantastic time. Thank you for covering that for us. So check it out. I think the basic gist, right, Carl, is if you want a 5-star, oh, look at this, Carl Hyde. Really, there is no need to rub it in. The food was so good. I'm going to their restaurant soon. And that is the sort of service you can expect. If you want a 5-star entry, who doesn't like first thing in the morning? If you want a 5-star entry into Portugal and you want all your needs attended, probably all your needs attended to, Martignal Orient is the place to go, where there is full concierge. You can get fed, you can get a roof over your head in one of their incredible apartments there. And Carl, let us know. I mean, being in Orient, that location is absolutely amazing, isn't it? Near Orient Station, the metro, the train service. You can walk to the waterfront. You can go on that cable car. You're near the Oceanarium. You're near the Vasco da Gama shopping centre. You are in a great position. And if you've got kids, you can send them along to the United Lisbon School as well. So amazing. Well done, Chitra and Roman Stern. of Martinjal. They founded Martinjal, 25 years ago, I think, in Sagres, and that's the latest iteration of their project there. So I'm glad you had a great time. Good to see you there, Gilda. Good to see you there, Carl. And I'm glad you had a good time last night, Astrid. If Carl Hyde put on a military jacket, everyone would be doing double takes. Yes, me and him, George Galloway and Vladimir Zelensky, available at a festa near you soon, signing autographs. Okay, I hope they find another Democratic candidate. That's another comment coming. That's polite and kind and probably right, isn't it? No, we don't like elder abuse. Give the guy a break. I'm glad I'm not American. I'd be very embarrassed. But come on, we've got our own reasons. I mean, seriously, Owen, it's no better, is it? I'd be very embarrassed with the leader of the free world. God help us all. I think whether you're British, American, or French at the moment, you could equally be saying that, couldn't you, about the other? So anyway, glad you're here this morning. Let's have some Feelgood Friday fun. We'll have Colleen Showalter joining us soon from Portugal, the place. I'm getting very relaxed and leaning back on my chair here. What did I have? You had a lovely canapes. Oh, I just threw my Jaffa cake. Not a euphemism. I just threw my Jaffa cake across the room. I'm looking at what I had for dinner last night, Carl Hyde. Actually, things a little bit off-piste Portuguese-wise. The Jaffa cake, I don't think is known as a Portuguese snack, so I won't be playing the Try Something Portuguese jingle. These are chabriot. I think I went kind of French, dirty French food last night from the supermarket. Le Jaffa cake here, I think by a French manufacturer. I think I'm used to the McVitie you make the original Jaffa cake, but love these with that. You know, did you, when you were a kid, and like my kids, eat around the little orange film that comes in the middle of this? Shall I break this in half so you can see what I'm talking about if you've never tried a Jaffa cake? Look, I'm just chucking crumbs all over the desk here, but if I take the lid off, there's that jammy disc that some kids like to get down to, which was probably the original gummy, wasn't it? Isn't that a thing of beauty? Handmade, no doubt, in a French biscuit factory. The other thing I had last night, we had the beige buffet of doom last night, forgive me, with a few deep fried things, all on the Dulux beige paint card last night with chips. That's what I made for the family anyway. They did have some boiled potatoes sprinkled with a manjericão from the Sant Antonio Festival. We're still eating little bits of, I'm still garnishing everything with small bits of basil. And whilst I was shopping in the deep freeze section, I saw the Coquille Saint-Jacques. Have you had that? Do you remember that? It is the only dish, as far as I'm aware, that comes with a free ashtray. So the kids didn't really like this. I do. This has to be cooked at a very high heat. I think it wanted 220 degrees of searing centigrade for a little gratin of quite indistinguishable mush inside this little free ashtray that comes with the dish. Two in each packet. And things that I believe were scallops. I had a little conversation with Jerry Lawler, who is allergic to scallops. I really love a scallop. And I'm not sure if they're actual scallops. They were tiny. They tasted scallopy, but you never know, do you, with seafood sometimes these days. I think they've got like cookie cutter shapes, and they put that crab stick concoction and form it into different shapes, like lobster tails or ocean deliciosas of the ocean. And I don't know if it was a real scallop or it had been the creation of some sort of food scientist. Anyway, so we got a couple of ashtrays now. We don't smoke, so if you'd like a free ashtray, maybe I can draw some Good Morning Portugal branding on there and send it out to you. You're very welcome. Squire of the Shires is in. Before we bring Colleen onto the screen, let's make sure we've said hello to everybody. We've got the coach in. We'll come back to your God Squad tip of the day later on. You were in at 7:33 this morning. Top man. We'll come back to, I think you're squatting. Squats, press-ups, sit-ups, planks. Mix it up. Yes, we'll come back to that later. And the old guy in Europe's got his video number, is it 3 or 4? Episode number 3 or 4 out on his YouTube channel this morning. Milen from Winsurance is in. Mr. S, good morning to you. We also have João Ernesto de Norte as well with a Bom Dia Portugal. And Michael Barton with a Bom Dia Portugal from Central Portugal. Gemini's in. Aviva's in, of course. Owen. Good morning to you all. Thank you for being here. João van Groningen. Bom dia todos from you as well. Carl Hyde, of course, as well. Maybe with a slightly sore head after the Martignal Orient gig last night. Glad you had a great time. Let's give her a nice big round of applause and bring her onto the screen. Colleen King-Showalter, good morning to you. Bon dia.
Bon dia. Bon dia. How are you, Carl?
I'm well, just moaning about my... Well, some people are really enjoying themselves in Orient last night. I had a medley. I guess there are ways of making it sound better than it actually is. Jaffa cakes and a coquille Saint-Jacques hastily eaten between webinars last night. But apart from that, I'm okay.
You are a gourmet aficionado.
Aren't I? And a little bit 70s, don't you think? I mean, the coquille Saint-Jacques with free ashtrays.
Very, very 70s. I love the little touch. Maybe you're bringing it back. You're going to create a new trend.
I will have a Black Forest Gâteau this evening. Prawn cocktail.
Don't forget quiche. Quiche is
now you're talking. Now you're talking. And I've got my Portuguese cookery magazines. I've got. It just so happens. Look at these, Colleen. These are Portuguese cooking magazines that I found with all of the things we're talking about. You can't get more beige than that.
That is beige. That is beige. Oh my gosh. It's so funny that you're saying that. We just hosted a wedding for some clients. Portugal the Place had their first Portugal the Place wedding that we helped create. And I had a whole conversation with the caterer about beige food. I like color on my tables. And so it was a fun conversation. I said, I'm good with the amount of little fried bites. Let's put some vegetables on the plate. So I get you,
know. How about some potato? No, something green or red maybe, or purple even. Go real crazy with that. Yeah, I mean, I think generally speaking, the human gravitates towards the beige for a bit of comfort, right? There's something comforting about it.
And it's appealing, and you get a little bite, but I do love a little bit of color, a tomato, a little caprese, something, just to brighten it up.
To you. Very nice. Caprese, very nice. So how are you? What's happening over at Portugal the Place?
Oh, we've been really busy. Summer is just going, we think it's summer. Outside, it doesn't feel like summer, but we are acting as if it is and pretending that we aren't still inside, kind of sitting by the fire, but it's been good. We actually, like I said, we hosted a wedding on Wednesday. It was supposed to be an outside garden, fantastical experience, and it ended up inside and fantastic. But
I saw a video, wonderful, and your fabulous dog was the ring carrier, right?
Yes, he was the ring bearer, so that was great. He had the whole wiggle, and he knew everybody going down the aisle, so he was definitely excited to be part of the whole event. But yeah, we are really just getting a lot of folks still just trying to get over for first quarter 2025. So if you're thinking about doing that, now is the time. So we've been straight out.
I think anyone helping Americans move to Portugal might have expected a few more messages in their intro this morning. Has that proven to be the case?
Oh, no. There are so many things I want to say, and I'm being very zen.
I know. I mean, this is what you got to be careful. My meme is I preferred it when they got along, and actually I don't know if they ever got along, but
did they ever get along?
I don't think they ever got along, did they? They didn't ever get along. No.
But no, that is such an appropriate meme. And this morning waking up, I wasn't surprised. I did not watch it, so to be fair, I've only seen clips, and that enough was, made me stop drinking my coffee. So I just decided to avoid watching the rest of it and go on with my day in Portugal.
I'm feeling you. Yeah, I hear you. And I don't know what else. I mean, and it's no different in many ways in the UK. People not feeling represented. It feels like the end of a system, really, doesn't it? That doesn't suit, not fit for purpose anymore. And we can just sit and wonder and ponder. What was that all about?
It makes me wonder how connected we are to people of other generations at other critical turning points in history. If it felt the same, or are we so bombarded with information and we get so much from around the world, are we almost overstimulated with trying to figure out what to do? Like I'm kind of jealous of the naive space that somebody would have had in the 18th century or the 19th century. They'd only had to deal with their problem. They didn't have to hear all of it and try to figure it out. It's just overwhelming.
You're absolutely right. And with the Second World War, one of the most profound and serious moments in human history in recent times, some people didn't even know it was over, did they? There were people who carried on. So it was still going on. Some didn't even know it had started, probably. There's no way that would happen now, is there?
Exactly. I mean, if Napoleon was invading Russia, for example, there was whole huge parts of the world that wouldn't have found out about what happened until a month later, and it would have been news after the fact, not in real time as it was happening. It's
Right.
just we're trying to process things in the moment, and then another moment happens, and another moment happens, and it's a strange time in the world's history as far as communication. We've never had so much information sent to us that we have to sort and process. It's
Absolutely.
it's
Yeah.
crazy.
And what might happen? It's not just what's happening, is it? Or what did happen? Because of the rolling news, it's like we're going to talk to you about what might happen now. We've got an expert on what might happen coming up after the break.
And then when it doesn't happen, you're like, did it happen? Was I
What?
thinking it would happen? It's like
Has Napoleon just invaded? Oh no, that was another. That was a different story. Yeah, incredible. Yeah,
it
you're
is
absolutely right.
so different. My grandmother, I don't know if you know from England, but my grandmother used to love Walter Cronkite. He
Oh
was
yes, yeah.
and I always felt like if he could deliver the news and sort it out for you and tell you what's happening, you would be calm, and then you'd go into the next day educated and with information. And now, there's no one source that anyone can go to feel it's either confirmation bias or anxiety or frustration. It's just we're all keyed up. So live in Portugal, drink wine, and sit
Yes,
in a cafe.
we are some way away from Mr. Rogers and Walter Cronkite, aren't we? By
Yeah.
now, I think.
Yes. It's crazy. It's
Yeah.
such a weird world, but it was waking up today, and I'm sure we're definitely seeing a continued uptick in people trying to figure out their next chapter if they want to, travel or just change their economic outlook, what that means for them. But also, I think that people are realizing too that they have options that they hadn't considered before because it's becoming more of a conversation in the States. It's still
Mm.
such a tiny percentage of Americans that actually consider moving abroad. It's a huge country,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
where the numbers move around between 5 and 7% of Americans that consider moving outside of the United States. So that's a tiny number when you look at the country's population.
Yes. Yeah. That's quite extraordinary. We were talking actually about the rise in American tourism, or the growing number of tourists visiting Portugal from America, and
Yes.
we have Tom S., one of our correspondents, who pointed out that the most recent spike is people who are finding it cheaper to come and watch Taylor Swift in Portugal than to see her in the United States. And if you think about it, you're talking there about actually small numbers, and there's a small number of Americans in Portugal in the grand scheme of things. And people flying in by plane, that's actually quite a tiny number as well, isn't it? And if
Yes.
half of them one day are flying in to watch Taylor Swift, that's a very misleading spike in the numbers, isn't it?
It is. It is. It's interesting too. As Americans, we used to, and in general, I would say this is the most common. Is if you were going to go to Europe and plan a summer vacation, you would go to England, or you would go to Italy or France. Those are kind of the starting points, and you might explore from there. And I'm seeing more and more and more posts where people are like, "Let's start in Portugal," and then they continue on to their European adventures. And that's such a flip because 5 years ago, you wouldn't have seen anyone on Instagram or talking about their trip saying, we're going to start in Portugal and then we're going to work our way to France and Italy or vice versa. It's landed as one of the top places to visit. So it's really interesting.
I like that idea, and long may that continue. It's a great place to land, isn't it? It is, as is the pied à terre for Americans, really, isn't it? Flying in, first country you can encounter as you land here. Then you could fly up north to the UK if you wanted to, or just jump across to the rest of Europe by air or rail as well. Hopefully, the rail will will improve in the
Hopefully
coming.
the rail. I think most people are still doing by air, but it's so convenient, and they've added more flights to Lisbon that connect nonstop from the States. So that's giving people options. So it's really encouraging. I love seeing people's attitude towards Portugal, like the aha moment of like, wow, what is this country? It's wonderful, but at the same time, I don't want to see what's happened like in Venice and other places where they've had to start putting restrictions on how many people can visit. So it's definitely a delicate balance for the country.
We're a way off from that yet, aren't we? I suspect.
I hope so.
Okay, and when people are asking you, Colleen, let's get onto that the thorny issue, the other thorny issue, you might say, this morning. What are you telling people to pack when it comes to clothing? You would expect, especially if you've been listening to somebody like me for the last few years, 300 days of sunshine. That's not happening. It's a funny old year weather-wise. What are you telling people to pack? Lots of layers and waterproofs.
So of course that's the logical, the layers for sure, because it isn't a cold rain, it's just rain right now. But you've got to check those shoes. The sidewalks, as we all know, they can be treacherous for the most ambulatory person. You can still slip very easily. So really checking that your shoes not only have cushion but traction, so that if it's rainy, you're not just gonna fall on down and have a challenge there. But then the other thing that I suggest are the little portable umbrellas, the little ones that you can just tuck in your purse or have in your backpack or wherever. But getting a foldable coat, because you don't need the heavy layers. I really don't think we're looking at cold. You just need something when the rain showers happen. So packing strategically, and don't panic when you see the weather that you think you need layers, like it's still humid and warmer. We're just adding some heavy precipitation. So that, for me, that's my weather girl moment. So today, a chance of precipitation with
Oh, excellent, Colleen. Very, very, very good.
Bring your umbrella. Yeah. And also just remembering that if your bag, I saw that.
We'll come back to that in just a moment.
If you have a bag and you're bringing it over, check for its waterproof. A lot of people use like the soft backpacks that don't have a waterproof, and your stuff will get soaked. Make sure that the backpack that your husband's carrying and your purse can handle a sudden rainstorm, because then you won't have any options to dry things out if that bag gets soaked.
That's true. And you won't have an expensive car hire bill because the electronic key. I remember I once went swimming with one of the keys of my hire car. That wasn't a smart move.
Doesn't go well. And your phone and all your electronics that you keep in your bag. A lot of the rucksacks and backpacks are that nylon material, and they're not waterproof. They'll soak right through in a heavy, if you're caught walking in the rain, your umbrella won't protect it. So check to see if you have something that you can bring with you that's waterproof.
Okay, thank you for that. That's really helpful advice. I have an apology. Whilst we're talking about this, I do have an apology to offer. The Portuguese has been giving me, quite rightly, a bit of a hard time about talking about 300 days of sunshine. I was talking to a lawyer last night, and Daniel Reis of Reis and Pelicano will defend me if necessary. But the year's not over yet, and I've slightly reframed it to 300 days worth of sunshine. And here is my official apology to everybody watching around the world who has ever it was peeing down in San Martino last night.
Oh, it was crazy last night all over. Here's the thing. All of my Portuguese friends, whenever I say what's going on with June, they say, but October is going to be beautiful.
Yes. Okay. I'm with you. October, I'm just going to slightly shift my focus from 300 days of sunshine to October is going to be beautiful. This was central Portugal last night, I think. Pete, from Pete's balcony. Magnificent. Is there an iPhone setting now for capturing lightning? Because the photography of lightning seems to have got so much better in the last little while. And we've got a bit of sorry, go on.
No, I was just saying it was incredible last night in Alcobaça. It was just lighting up the sky and going on and off until this morning. So it's definitely, but all over the world has June gloom. So we just have to go with the fact that we're almost done with June, and then July will just become that sunny weather again. And we just navigated a heavy June gloom.
It's a thing. A June gloom is a thing, is it?
It is. I used to live in Southern California, and everybody would come to LA in June and be so disappointing because it'd be misty and foggy and you get drizzly rain. And it's called June gloom. It comes up all over the place, and it's a thing. So we're just coming out of June gloom.
I did not know that. That's fascinating. Thank you very much. That's
and then if you ask your followers, they at least most Americans, I think, know the phrase June gloom.
Oh, I'll go with it. I'll go with it, because it won't be long, will it? Until we're doing what's on the right here. So constant moaning in grey and constant moaning in yellow and orange. when it's boiling hot.
Exactly.
Which it will be in October. Colleen just said so. And another, we've got weather memes. I love summer. It can never be too hot. Which of these are you? Are you the melting person or the one who says it can never be
I'm
too
the
hot?
melting person. It
Yeah,
melts
me
for
too.
me. I'm like, okay, anything over, anything that's considered.
25?
Yeah, I'm lost. But it's bad. But look at me. I literally turn into a lobster. I just walk outside and I go whoop and turn
You and
bright
me
red.
both. You and me
It's
both.
it's not a good thing, but I will take an apology as well. I will put it out to the universe because you may have said it's 300 days of rain, but I may be partially responsible as well. Um, I did decide to invest in a fantastic outdoor furniture set for my outdoor living room.
Sorry, go on.
And I have yet to really use it. So I've been waiting years to put this into the backyard. Last year and the year before, I was wishing I would have done it. This year, I was like, this is the year our whole life will be outside. And so far, I watch it like a dog looking out the window to play ball because I can't sit in my yard because it's all wet. So I apologize to the universe. I did put the idea that I would use my outdoor space this summer.
Yeah, well, there is a set of garden furniture available for sale in Alcobaça, hardly used. In showroom condition. And let's say, before you go this morning, always great fun chatting with you. It hasn't dampened the passion of the Festa goers, has it? It's been a slightly quiet Festa year, I think, in terms of tourists coming in because of the weather and it being a bit cooler. But local people have partied like the Portuguese, and that should be a phrase around the world. So how's it been in Alcobaça?
Alcobaça, we just finished up the Sardine Festival. So we just had our 3 days of Sardine Festival last weekend. And in true to form, they came out in droves. They did not let the weather stop them. The Sardine Festival is right next to our house. So we had the lovely experience of having a front row seat to all the music and performances. It was as loud as if you were standing right in front of it. So that's always exciting. And there's nothing like 3 days of grilled sardines floating through the air and into your home to really let you know that summer has started and that it is Festus time. So
Yeah.
it was great. Alcobaça has been hopping. There have been people all the time. There has been events happening. I haven't seen any of this slow people down, and we're just rounding the corner. I warned everybody that I've been talking to that are scheduling their trips to Scout this summer to look for an apartment, buy a house, whatever, to be cautious when they're scheduling things during the rest of the year, the summer, end of July, August, because cities, municipalities, districts, and the country have so many festivals, so many days that are closed, so many holidays that you really want to double check if you're planning to do business, because you could get caught unaware that it's like Luria Day or some local reason that you have a holiday closure. So keep track of those on your calendar before you make like a bank appointment or something.
That's right. I mean, it might be the holy day of Saint Ignatius, and 5 particular shops and a government office are closed because that is the holy saint of those particular businesses. Colleen's absolutely right. You need to check those sorts of things. Wonderful. So it hasn't dampened the passion of the Portuguese when it comes to Festa season. I'm so glad to hear that in Alcobaça. Same here as well. One more thing before you go, Colleen. The wedding that you were talking about earlier on, is that people who met through your community, or did they come together in the first place?
No, they're a fantastic couple who wanted to marry here in Portugal, always had the intent when they moved here. They were a couple in the US. And right now, with the US being a little unstable on confirming that all types of marriage will continue to be legal, they decided to double down and make sure it was legal in Portugal. So we celebrated love and community and had a great opportunity to just really affirm how wonderful it is to be in a place where everyone can be themselves and just enjoy their new chapter of life. It was fantastic.
But they were a pre-made couple on arrival, were they?
Yes, 33 years they had been together.
Oh, very pre-made. Okay, so lots of years of happiness and putting the sort of Portuguese cherry on top of the cake being here. And it's going to be interesting, isn't it? I guess it's a bit early on, but for all of our communities, for people, the first wedding of people who've met through the communities will be very special. And I'm sure you, like me, have got a hat waiting for that particular occasion.
Yes, yes, yes. We were just luckily enough in our small community of people at Portugal the Place. One of our team members just welcomed their first daughter, and we had our fantastic opportunity to have our first baby experience in
Wonderful.
family, and we had the baby shower and all of that. So we're definitely having a fantastic year of celebration so far. So it's been very
Yes.
heartwarming. And to respect privacy, I won't say who it is, but I do want to send out to the universe all the best wishes to mom and baby
Absolutely.
and the family. It was
Yeah.
a very special day for us at Portugal the Place.
And those things are very important, aren't they? The births, the marriages inside our communities really give you the sense that, you know, we are we are grounding and belonging and are known to each other. And love is being expressed within our community. So it's a lovely thing to be able to celebrate these moments and milestones.
Building our families together. You know, family doesn't have to be blood, right? It's who we choose to
It's
bring
the
into our
extended
heart.
family, isn't it? Yes,
Yep.
absolutely. Oh, I'm so glad to hear that. Please extend. They won't know who I am, but please extend my best wishes as well, if you will.
Definitely, definitely. It's been a really wonderful month, and we're excited. Despite the rain, we're decided to welcome all the folks that are coming over to explore Portugal and see if it's a good fit for them.
Wonderful. And are you fully booked for the ladies' trip at Christmas?
Everything on that had to be put on hold. We did not get enough people that were interested. So we will be regrouping and see if we offer something that might work better for folks. So right now it is not completely canceled, but it will be rescheduled or some different version as we didn't get enough to fill it.
So therein is a scouting trip opportunity organised by the wonderful Portugal the Place, probably in the new year now.
Looking like it for sure. But the folks that were signed up are now getting their own custom trips with us. So it all worked out because they're just spending
good for them.
Independent time. So it's still for those that signed up happening, but just in a different version.
Very good. Okay, excellent to have an update from you. All the best to the team. Have a great weekend. Take care and bye for now. Bon fin semana. Muito obrigado. Ciao, ciao.
Oh.
So there she goes, Colleen Showalter of Portugal the Place there. Look at this. Joao F is in this morning as well. Good morning, everybody. Good morning to you. We've had Barack Zabel join us as well. Hola, bon dia from Lord Travancore. All rise. And Bobby O'Reilly might be joining us as well this morning. It's been a while, Bobby. I hope to see you a little bit later on in the show. Nothing but sunshine in Aroera. Is that not the strap line that the real estate agents used over there in Aroera? And an update from Haddad de Mayo as well. Put together the most punchy short I could possibly do in 15 seconds, but I don't think it does it justice. So Bobby will come and chat to us about what's going on at Haddad de Mayo as well. Give us a bit of an update and let us know how he's doing. And yes, we've got with the old guy in Europe, James, very happy to see you, Joao, this morning. And a few more things to resolve on the sunshine matter and the weather matter after looking a little bit of thunder and lightning, very, very frightening indeed in central Portugal. Thank you, Pete, for these. Now, I don't know if you could hear the sound there. The sound was amazing. There were bleating sheep. There were insects, birds. That was really very special. It looked like the Australian outback a little bit more. Quite incredible. 300 days of lightning and thunder and rain here in Portugal. 300 days of sun. Cite the research. I bet it's a travel brochure and sunshine. Do you know, I don't know where it came from and why I started saying it in the first place. Sunshine equals a minimum of 5 minutes of sun on any given day. Okay, I think we might be even more then in that case. Thank you for your Walter Cronkite meme. Let's have a look at that. I've been watching that Netflix film. I think it's called Unfrosted. It's a story of the Pop-Tart. And I think Mr. Rogers does pop up in there, as does a little cameo, not a cameo, but a little portrayal of Walter Cronkite as well. Younger Americans will have trouble believing this, but there was once this guy named Walter Cronkite who would read the news on television every weeknight. He didn't seem to have an agenda. What? Or try to make anybody look bad or good. He would just read the news. And then, get this, we would all just make up our own minds about what we thought. What is this golden age you speak of, James? He didn't interview smarmy, opinionated talking heads. He just read the news matter-of-factly, and then he would just sign off and shut up. Isn't that amazing? Thank you very much for that, James. Let's go to your mindful memery of today and show your pickies as well. Thank you for that. And I think... oh, must mention Sangeet, because I know John was mentioning Walter Cronkite as well. Hello, everyone. Finished my first 10 days in Portugal and already falling in love. So whatever the weather here, Sangeet, Katri, having a great time. Thank you for popping in and saying hello. First 10 days in Portugal. What a lovely... Do you know what? I think we need to send you a little bit of a parabéns for that here in my treasury of... little videos. Here's one for you, Sangeet. I'm so glad to have received that this morning. This is for you. There you go, celebrating your milestone there. First 10 days in Portugal. That's absolutely wonderful. Bobby O'Reilly just about to join us as well. So I think I'll save the God Squad tip of the day to talk through with Bobby, because we know that he's been on a bit of a fitness regime. We'll find out what's been going on with that as well. Let's give him a nice big round of applause. Morning, Bobby. It's been a while, hasn't it? Lovely to see you.
It's been a bit. I've been a bit busy, let's say.
I imagined you might have been. You seem to have a little bit of a building project going on south of the river, which we're going to endeavour to sum up in 15 seconds now, and then hopefully you can tell us a bit more about. I got to say, I love that shot at the end as the drone camera rises up to look at the far horizon of Lisbon there. How's it looking? How's it feeling to be one of the masterminds behind that project?
I know. Well, it's a great project, to be honest. We're very happy with it. I'm in a little bit of pain. I slipped the disc the other day and sort of struggling to sort of walk and everything at the moment. So the fitness regime has been put in.
Oh, sorry, we lost your sound there for a minute. Yeah, you were talking about your fitness regime and a slipped disc, and then suddenly the microphone has gone. Can you give your microphone mute button a little bit of a tap there, and let's see if we can bring you back on that. Failing that, you might. Oh yeah, we can hear you again now. I've got you. I know what you're doing now. So you said, well, I got a message from you on Wednesday because we were hoping to talk to you then. You said you'd hurt your back. You've actually slipped a disc. That's a little bit of an understatement then, hurting your back.
Yeah, no, I literally put my foot on the first step of the stairs and just basically bang. I didn't know what it was. I thought I pulled the muscle or something. So I went to bed. Well, I tried to get up the stairs, but then the next day it was too bad. So I went to an osteopath and he sort of pulled me every which way he could, and it did work to a point, but it was still very sore. So I have a physio coming now to the house every day just to sort of, how would you say, work it in. But it's getting better. In a few days, I think I'll be fine.
But a spanner in the works then for your fitness regime, by the sound of it.
Yeah, sort of. But it's also an excuse not to do it as well. For you to give yourself a bit of a break.
Hey, slip disc. Way! So, how was it going until that point?
No, fine. To be honest with you, it was going well. I was doing well till I got to Lebanon. I had to go to Lebanon for a wedding last week, and I had my diet and but that all went out the window as soon as he hit Beirut, you know. And of course, it's all everyone throwing food at you everywhere, basically. And I mean, literally throwing it at you, but throwing it into you. So it was fantastic. The trip was fantastic. The wedding was great. The food was fantastic, and I put on about 1.5 kilos, I think, in 5 days. So I had to sort of, it was making up for a few weeks.
Lebanon, Beirut. I mean, as we've grown up, we've had a certain view of places around the world, haven't we, that has been formed by the news media. What is it actually like to be in Beirut?
It's changed actually since I started to go there. I remember the first time I went there, I didn't know what to expect, which was about 8 years ago now. And it was like going to Marbella.
Really?
Yeah, parts of it. As in, like, it's got big marinas. You have a lot of rich people with big yachts, and because the Lebanese are all over the world, and they're very entrepreneurial, and they basically sort of all drawn back home. Everyone sort of has a base in Lebanon, regardless of where they live, especially the extremely rich people. But you wouldn't be able to get a restaurant, a table at a restaurant, unless, like, you were well known. That's how well it was doing. And then, of course, when the Syrian war started, you had about 1 million refugees come over the border into Beirut alone, which had a population of 1 million up to that. Whoa. And then you had another 1 million Palestinian refugees. So now you have a 3 million population. So I would say at one point, maybe about 4 years ago, it was really, really bad, and the signs of poverty, etc., from the influx of refugees was very, very hard to see.
Yeah.
And it's got a little bit better since, but now obviously between the tensions on the southern border, with Israel, etc., it's things are tenser now. But you still have the yachts and the cars and that kind of stuff as well. But it's changed a lot in the last 8 years.
Amazing. And I trust you had a good time while you were there.
Yeah, like, I was there for a social event, to be honest with you. So like and it was catching up with friends. I have a lot of friends there, so it was a very nice few days off. Yeah.
Excellent, good for you, and some fabulous Lebanese hospitality and good food. I take it.
Amazing, the best in the world, I think. To be honest with you.
Really?
Unbelievable. Like, I'm a meaty. I like my meat and what have you as well. But the thing is, if you never saw meat there, you wouldn't even know it. You know, that kind of, it's a bit like Indian food in the sense that there's so much flavor and textures, and you know, I love food. But it's just so good. It's just so good. Like,
so good. I can hear it in your voice. How much you've enjoyed that. That's amazing. On the subject of food, we've got Mrs. M who's watching. Feelgood Astrology. I'm so embarrassed about this food conversation. I was talking about my dinner last night. I don't think you or I were at the Martignal Orientu, where Carl Hyde was having canapes made for him, which looked very good. I wouldn't want to be in that queue, but that looked amazing. And I was sharing my Jaffa cake and Coquille Saint-Jacques dinner last night. Do you remember these, Bobby?
Yeah.
The free ashtray comes with your food. Which and when I see you, I've got to bring you one of these. This is a Portuguese cookery magazine. Now, I would like to say it's faded with the years, but I think it was actually published in this color back in the 1970s. Look at that place setting. Were you in catering when this sort of thing was going on?
I think I was at that wedding, actually, but I think I
was. Look at this. Look, coffee and whiskey ice cream. We've got to have a look at this, haven't we, when we meet up? I'll bring a few of these. These are priceless, aren't they?
That I would try.
I'm sure that I suspect you could make as well with a nice Irish whiskey, and a Portuguese coffee and Irish whiskey ice cream. I don't know what that is on the other side there, but what a time!
I think it's a black cherry tart or something, or it looks something like it, but it's.
Do you know it's actually a bolo de queijo? So that's a very dark cheesecake on the dark side. Right there. Just one more before we go, because that's a rare departure from the beige. But look, we're back to the beige with some. What are they called? They are biscotto azúcar, sugar biscuits. Not enough sugar in normal biscuits. Let's make some sugar biscuits. So, Mrs. M, we normally eat much better than this. When I lived in France, I ate beautifully prepared Coquille Saint-Jacques, not prepared like that in a factory. But what's the matter, Mrs. M? When we have guests around next, we can get these out as our special ashtrays.
Yeah, you can keep, just keep giving. You can keep using them over and over again.
Brilliant. Okay, Herda de Mayo then. How's it going over there? We got a sense of the scale of the site and the location there. 15 seconds can't really sum up what the majesty of the site and the incredible things that are going on there, presumably.
Yeah, I think probably the easiest way to explain it is that the main construction only started in March, and we're still in June, and like we've got 40 houses, all of the frames are finished, and we've got, I think it's 12 houses of the brickwork done. So basically, we're putting in bricks into houses now, and
Cool.
bringing up the last of them out of the ground. We'll have all of them up, I'd say, in the next, well, you know the way July, August is, but I think September, October. We'll probably have the last of them out. There's 2 or 3 houses that won't go up until very late because it would interfere with the actual circulation of the trucks and things like this. But it's basically it's full on. It's flying, like it's great. It's amazing to see it goes so quickly, and it's every day they're very different and very obvious. And if you go upstairs, if any of the houses, and you just look over the tops of the trees, you can see the April 25 bridge, the Cristo Rey. You can see Amoreiras, you can see Lisbon skyline. It's fabulous. Like it really is. Like you only get the idea of how close you are to Lisbon when you're even standing on one of the balconies. And then when you even look around, there's not a bad view here, if you know what I mean.
Yeah,
no matter where the house is, sometimes it depends on where your property is, what you're looking at, and so on. So the views are great all around, the vistas, as to say. And so no, the more it's gone on, the more comfortable we've become with the project, and also with the way people are coming now to the sales office. A lot of them Portuguese.
Very good.
We're about to do a new, how we would call it, it's a new marketing strategy that we're starting now for the local market. It's mainly local market we're after now, and we're preparing a whole new marketing strategy now that will really, it'll start in the end of August, but it's for September, October, November, December, if you like. It's to finish off the sales. And what we're doing is we're preparing, I think it's like 3 or 4 price lists.
Mm-hmm.
And depending on your circumstances and on your payments capacity, what we will do is there'll be a different price of the house. So for example, let's say, give an example, a house that's 605,000 euros, for example. If it's a thing that you pay 30% now and 70 on the deed, it's a little cheaper.
Right.
If you pay 10% now and 90 on the deed, it's the same price, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So there's a new pricing and sales structure coming up with the new. So it's to allow people easier access with regards to how they can buy. Also, we're going to have on site as well a guy that will deal with financing and so on to show people how to buy the houses as well.
Great.
Rather than just trying to sell houses. So between all the bells and whistles, I think we've said it a number of times, like with the intelligence systems that are in the houses, it's basically got all the unique selling prices between the electricity, solar driven, and converters, and A plus, and then you have the paddle courts, and there's lots and lots of things.
Well, I was going to ask you about that because one of the USPs, if that's not if it's a unique selling point, there's probably only one. But I mean, one of the boasts and one of the great things about Haddad de Mayo is the smart home concept, and that's what's going to get really exciting now, isn't it? Now you've got bricks going into the buildings, the final fix and the smart house touches are going to start coming in. That's when it's going to get really exciting. And your Christian, isn't it, who was on the show, who is the specialist in this sort of thing, must be absolutely raring to go and get in there and install this technology. So how close are you to that sort of thing happening? And what sort of features can we expect?
That really is probably going to be one of the last things to happen. Like you obviously have the pre-installations and so on. Yeah. But the idea of the whole concept behind the smart and intelligent home is that it's designed specifically to the user. Yeah. So it's a bit like when you buy your car and you set it up for yourself.
Yes.
But then when somebody else buys it off you, they can reset everything and so on and so forth. Now it's a little bit more technically based than that, but I'm not the tech guy. I like the buttons. I like to open things and close things with my fingers, but I'm useless when it comes to the technology side of it. But to have someone like Christian that understands all that kind of stuff and basically can do everything remotely if you want, or add in extra things. The idea is that the house is completely adaptable.
Yes.
So if something new comes out, there's a plug to plug it into. There's a mesh net system that can take it to whatever comes down the line. You remember years ago, there was a company in Ireland called, I forget it, but they basically were doing the Irish smart home. And what they were doing was they were building big hubs within the house, typically in the hot press area, where you had a hard drive that you would download things. And you'd be able to download movies and you'd be able to play music from this drive.
Wow.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. It didn't.
At the time, it would have been amazing, wouldn't it?
Yeah, exactly. So no, everyone was buying. I mean, as developers there, everyone was buying into this, and that this was the whole way the future was going, and so. But now everything is in the sky. It's in the cloud. So it's what's required within the structure of the house is a sort of a network, and the machines themselves now are so intelligent that they talk to each other. So you don't need to put in a special brain. It's making sure that the equipment that you put in can interact with it's with each other as well. And even the solar panel system and the converter system is intelligent enough to know when to buy and when to sell from the grid, etc. as well. So its own system is smarter than anything else you could put into it.
So you really, it's the plumbing that's the most important thing then, isn't it? Because the software will be upgraded and change. You just need to make sure that the connectivity is there with the kind of virtual plumbing system between the devices.
Yeah, and the devices. So obviously the devices have to speak the same language and so on and so on. Again, I'm not the expert on it, but what I would say is that if you're a clever enough person yourself that you're like, you're into all that sort of, you don't need a Christian, for example. You're able to do it yourself.
Yes.
The idea is that you have choices. You have choices, what you want to do, what you can do, and you can do what you want. That's the whole concept behind it. And you can get whoever you want to do it as well. Yeah. So it's not as if you're stuck to, I need to get this guy to do this or whatever. You can use whoever you like. The idea here is that you've got full autonomy with regards to how your house is going to function.
I just want the man cave preset, really, don't we? So at the moment, you press the man cave preset and it gets the Euros on the telly for the Portugal game. It makes sure there's enough cold beer in the fridge, orders some more on Amazon if there isn't, to be delivered by drone, and we're away. And each person in the house can have their own preset for all their creature comforts.
That's it. Basically.
Okay, right, excellent, excellent to see you. Any great plans for the weekend? You've got to keep still, haven't you? Keep still.
It's a little bit of recovery to do, but we're heading off next week on a trip through Spain, and then going to Ireland for a few days, and doing a trip with the kids around Ireland, and then back to Spain again. We're driving, taking the ferry.
Are you?
So yeah, we miss the rain. The weather here has been so good, and it's like it's too hot here, so we're saying that
right.
We know when we go a little bit more north towards San Martino de Porto, it gets a bit wetter, so like we feel more at home there,
Yeah, well, I'm well done for coping with the unbearable heat of Aroera in these last few weeks. Have a great time in Ireland. One quick question from Pete. Sounds amazing. He's talking about the Lebanon here, Beirut, I think, rather than the Mayor. Do they still have power outages? What dish would you recommend if we go? So was there a power problem? What food to recommend? Probably too many.
Yeah, the thing is that, well, first of all, to answer the question, yes, the power is still cutting in and out. But most people now have either generated up or have solar, how do you call it? They have solar options as well. So you don't see it as much anymore. And as well, I was staying in a hotel that it was cutting in and out, but it would be instantly back on through backup generators, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So, but a couple of years ago, 2 years ago, it could be gone for a day, So it was very different. And the thing was that where it mattered was that all your meat and all the produce that you were having in restaurants and so on, and because people were working off of generators and fuel cost so much, you didn't know what you were eating. How was it thawed? Was it fresh? Was it cooked? So this is where the vegetarian thing cut in very, very well, So
right, yes.
But the dishes, obviously the hummus and the falafels and the I would say the one that I like best is one called the laham bajin, which is like it's similar to a pizza, but it's bread folded with a mix of minced meat inside and herbs and stuff.
Ooh,
and it's like the tiny pizzas that you can have them in different sizes, but you would eat 30 of them. They're that good.
Really? Fantastic. But just make sure you're at a restaurant that's got constant power supply, because the refrigeration of that bad boy is quite important.
Now it's fine, but you know, I heard just before I go the other day, one of my partners, he was telling me that the electricity in Kuwait is now cutting off as well. In Kuwait, not because of anything else, that it's free. The electricity is free. The government pays for it, and because it's free, there's no control over usage. So people go on holidays, leave their air conditioning on maximum, the whole lot, doors open, windows open, everything. So it's basically now they're using more than they can actually generate in a country that has got so much sun. Like, it's 54 degrees. So imagine being on even a 14th floor and the elevator stops working.
Unbearable. Well, deadly, possibly lethal, isn't it? Really,
it tells you now not to use the elevators in when they're having these cutouts. Yeah. So now they're working on new strategies to sort of make sure that they have backup, not to control the usage, but to make sure that they have backup.
That's amazing, isn't it? Incredible. There you go. Imagine that, living in a country with free power. And then that's what happens with humans, isn't it? They just kind of abuse it because
That's
it's
it.
free. Quite extraordinary. Bobby, great to see you. Good to have a catch up. All the best with Dad de Mayo and your trip to Ireland. Have a great weekend and get well soon with your back there. You're
Take care.
going to need you back in good shape with all that driving. Take care. Bye for now. Ciao, ciao. See ya. On for semana. Right, there goes Bobby O'Reilly. We're running a little bit late. We've got a few more things to do. Let's hang out, shall we? And take it easy on this Feel Good Friday, because we didn't do the God Squad tip of the day. That might have just caused Bobby to have a back spasm, the mere talk of it. Oh, and we've got an outstanding Name the Celebrity. Did you visit the Parthenon during your trip to Greece? Reply, I don't really remember the names of the clubs we went to. Brilliant. Another one. We asked if she enjoyed her visit to England. No. I didn't go to England. I went to London. Ouch. Okay. And there was another one here as well of Name the Celebrity. Thank you very much. These are hilarious. Oh, this one. I think there were three here. Let me know if there are more. I never wanted to visit Japan because I don't like eating fish, and I know that's very popular out there in Africa. Wow. If someone had asked me those celebrity questions, I would have said, I don't know who specifically, but I can say with some confidence, they're all from the United States over there. Interesting, Joao de Nort, and I imagine the mystery will be resolved before the end of the show this morning. Your cheerful introduction to Portugal, your day and your weekend. Bom dia, Gumpers, e feliz sexta-feira. Putting the sex in sexta-feira. We went to see comedian Milton Jones last night. I've always enjoyed his wordplay and silly jokes. Here's an example. The laziest teacher in the world died last week. They buried him in an unmarked grave. Oh, yes. Very good indeed. God Squad tip of the day, the nervous system. Stamina and speed we've looked at this week. So to finish, we need to mention strength. That was the other S I was struggling to remember. As I've mentioned before, we begin to lose muscle mass after the age of 40. I definitely feel that in my bottom, actually. And hopefully that didn't catch your attention, me talking about feeling things in my bottom. So to counter that, we need to work at it 5 minutes a day of doing the simplest of exercises in combination. I can't believe that. The simplest of exercises in combination with the stamina and speed work will keep you in good shape. Squats, press-ups. Come on, give me 5 of each of these. The squats, the press-ups, the sit-ups, the planks, etc. Mix it up each day, and you'll soon begin to feel the benefit. That is in recreating strength in the body there. Mindful moment from James. Mindless fear is greater than mindful fear. Mindless fear is... Oh, I see. It's the effect is worse. I'm guessing you're suggesting there. Or Idowu Koyenikan is suggesting that. And a mindful dad joke from James. Thank you, James. His latest video is out on his YouTube channel, An Old Guy in Europe. Dear Naps, I'm sorry I was so mean to you in kindergarten. Hell yeah. Hands up if you enjoy a sexta here in Portugal. I do. I know I do. Do you know in Brazil we say uncle's joke? So they're not dad jokes, they're uncle's jokes in Brazil. And you know what? We know what that uncle looks like. He's that highly tanned and slightly hairy guy, isn't he, in Brazil, who insists on wearing a leather thong to the beach. We know the guy you're talking about. Your morning thought this morning, Milene, you'll never get bored when you try something new. There's really no limit to what you can do. It's got to be a Dr. Seuss bon mot, that, hasn't it? With it rhyming in that way. You'll never get bored when you try something new, there's really no limit to what you can do, apart from the bounds of public decency, of course. Perfect. The piado do tio. So the uncle jokes. They're very good. Loving this. Thank you very much indeed. And tell Dr. Seuss to try staring at a blank wall. Yes, that's a way of keeping him busy for a little while. Good morning, everyone from Gemini. I didn't include that earlier on. Let's go look at the wonderful events from the Bairrada that are coming up. A little smattering from Bairranda. Have a great weekend, everyone, says Michael Barton from that part of the country. Nice weather, returning to central Portugal next week. Whatever. I'll believe it when I see it, Michael. Celebrity answers. That'll be Paris Hilton, Shaquille O'Neal, and Britney Spears right there, respectively. Thank you for those this morning and your events. A little smattering. These are very representative of what goes on in the whole of Portugal, of course. One here is the São João. That's the 23rd. Oh, it's going on till the 29th. Okay, because we've missed those earlier dates there, but it carries on today and tomorrow. Fun, fun, fun. Come along and have a great time at this super festival in Bustos, where there's a radio museum. Fantastic. Great fun couple of days. Marches, bands, Sardinhada, of course, and Bailarico, I'm not sure what that is, in the cultural Latino town of Palhaça. Thank you very much. Such a São Pedro for you right there. We've had a São João, we've had a São Pedro, and this, a fun swim across the Witch's Lake. Do you dress up as a witch for this? Find out how the witch was involved in turning all the houses stripy in Costa Nova. Oh, love a bit of folklore. Fantastic. That's at Costa Nova, where those candy stripe houses are near Aveiro. Experience a fabulous evening of traditional Portuguese entertainment, food, and atmosphere in the heart of the Bairrada at this super event in the lovely Marval. Thank you. All of these on the Gumper map. The Sardinhada is... Do you know what? I haven't had any sardines. And when I saw Gilda the other day, I've got a few pictures from Gilda too. She was winding me up about sardines. We're going to have them 4th Wednesday at the Storytellers next month. 24th of June, we'll be having sardines there. I hope they're still in season and nice and fresh. Finally, from the Bairrada, a walk, run, crawl. One of your pictures wouldn't load up by Randy, but we've got a good smattering here. Join this fun community event in the great town, or beach town of Costa Nova, famous for its stripy houses. There's another one. A bit of a run. You can go to the Aveiro Lagoon and the quaint fishing port, visit it. The fish market, plenty of bars, cafes, restaurants, plus a super crazy golf course and a newly refurbished park. A lot of fun to be had there up in that part of the world, in Central and heading towards Aveiro this weekend. Whatever you're doing, I hope you have a fabulous weekend. Mentioned Gilda, and we've got those memes to come from James. This is Gilda came to see us at our San Martino de Porto meetup last Wednesday. We went up to Atelier de Dos, which she loved. The girls loved the donuts, the bolos de Belém, which I sent them. And here's a little bit of a collection of photos that she took. Is this one of hers or is this one of yours, James? Oh, no, this is one of hers. She went to Óbidos. She went to the Prohibition Bar. She loved Óbidos. She knows Óbidos, of course, as she called it, and took these fabulous photographs over there. And also found a copy of Luís Camões's Los Lusíadas. You say it, man. And that's this is a beautiful old book that she found there in a new bookstore, I believe, in Óbidos. And then over to the Prohibition Bar, where you can find the Prohibition Swinger. There's always one at the local pub, isn't there? And there's the old aqueduct, of course. The Queen said she wanted running water. She got running water into Óbidos Castle. And there's a fantastic mural at the Prohibition Bar there. Thoroughly recommend that. And, of course, it's Branny's Love Spell, his new single release. That's happening this evening near Peniche. I've got a ticket for that. I'm not going to be able to go, but if you want my ticket, you're very welcome to it. Prohibition, just drop me a line. Prohibition ends at last. 14-year dry era over. Is that how long Prohibition lasted in the United States? That's amazing, isn't it? Didn't stop people drinking, of course, notably. And over to James's memes for the morning then, as we finish this morning. This could be us. Is that us coming to Portugal? Anything I don't get to this morning, don't worry. We'll pick it up and run with it on Monday with James. This could be us, but you don't meditate. Hold on, let me get rid of the banner for the final punchline. Oh, this could be us, but you don't meditate. Ooh, slightly stern and spiritually correct warning there, I think. And I'm reading a book about anti-gravity, Spock. Sounds fascinating, Captain. I can't put it down. Dear, oh dear. And one final thought then. Have a great weekend. This is your cheerful introduction to Portugal. to the day and to your weekend this weekend. And some kudos to you as a foreigner. The doc mentioned this a little while ago. We were getting a little bit of heat on the screen from people accusing us of being cowards, leaving the UK and moving away and moving to Portugal. Doc said, you don't think it's brave to move country? Well, here's another way of putting it. Do you know what a foreign accent is? It's a sign of bravery. So even if you're new in your journey with learning Portuguese and you think you sound a bit rubbish speaking Portuguese, your foreign accent when you are speaking Portuguese is a sign of your bravery in moving country and at least having a go. And on that note, I wish you a great weekend, and we look forward to your company for another cheerful introduction to Portugal, your day and the weekend on Monday. See you there. Bon fin semana. Ciao, ciao. Nice big round of applause for you.
Bom dia, Portugal! In Portugal, there's a YouTube show full of fun facts you need to know. Carl rings the bell and the members show to the GMP morning show. Featured guests will come and they will blow your mind. The audience will do so in kind. The little vanity mixed with some insanity on the morning show with GMP.
Good morning, Portugal, and I'd like to welcome you to another fantastic